Do I feel good today? And apparently, I'm the only one because we have several guys under the weather. We'll get to that in a second. But this is Driving the Line, your weekday sports and sports betting brand of record. We're here every single weekday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. If you haven't followed our YouTube channel, I encourage you to do it right now. Now, as always, I'm your coach. I drive this bus. And before we look forward, we must always look back. Yesterday, not a bad day at the brand. Unfortunately, the Pacers, who were up big, couldn't hang on. They did win the game, did not cover. The Mavericks, solid. Kyrie Irving. AB. All those check marks. Very nice hitting that one parlay. And Jacob, the silent assassin, continues to do his work. 2-1 there. Zaz, 1-1. And our man, Howie Schwab, 2-1. By the way, Howie does have picks today, but I need all of you in the chat right now. First of all, hit that like button for me. Second of all, he got rushed to the hospital last night. And we're always transparent with you, and he is not doing well. However, he is doing better and good enough to still send in his picks. So he wants all of you to know he's thinking about you. Let's let Howie know that we are thinking about him. Now, AB, also very under the weather today. Jacob, under the weather today. But some housekeeping items. For those of you who are members of the crew, our very exclusive club, launching today will be Coach's Corner. It's going to be a place for commentary. We're going to have coaches' interviews there, athletes' interviews there. So if you're not a member yet, just go to our YouTube page. We're on it right now, and join up, as many of you have already. Also, once a week, we're going to launch something new called Ask the. And it's going to be a place for all of you because you have told us, you've responded to us and said, Coach, we want more. We want a place where we can go, ask questions, be educated, be entertained, all of that. Now, I need all of you to stay till the end of the show because we have a very important question for you. And we want your feedback because, as always, it's about you, the Driving the Line universe. And we have decided, because I had to be knocked over the head, but as we try to grow this network, it's not just about one show. We want to add shows. And we have a question just for you. By the way, go to our Driving the Line Twitter page or the Coach Rules Twitter page and our merchandise store. It is open right now. Our featured merch item of the week looks a little something like this, courtesy of our man, Zach. It's Us Against the Book, hashtag the crew. We have 3 options for next week. We want you to vote at Twitter, and we will listen to you. Whatever it is, that will be the featured item. We have straight to the pay window. We have you've got your marching orders, 3 different choices. Go there and vote sometime today. That QR code will be up there in the corner. All right, so today, driving the bus with me all show long as we build our crew, as we build our bullpen. So excited to have from Odd Sharks. We just simply call him Cavy. Let's bring him in right now. You know him, you love him, and I got to tell you, we are so excited, Cavy, to have you on the show today because everybody's sick. So it's just going to be me and you. Welcome for the first time and hopefully the first of many to Driving the Line, sir. Good morning.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you. And listen, I know they're not doing well. Hopefully they feel better. But them still sending out the picks for everybody, it'd be tough not to tail them, even though they're sick, giving out picks. And for another thing, Coach, I got to say it is an honor meeting you. Back in the day, watching YouTube videos of your backstage with The Rock, the interviews. And I had to watch it on YouTube. I couldn't watch it on TV because if my mom found out I was watching WWE, I'd be on timeout. I'd be sitting on the stairs. So, and the other thing, watching you, you had an interview a few months ago with Chris. Yeah. Just anybody in the chat, even if you're not a WWE fan, it was a great interview. It's inspirational. The stories you tell. It's an honor, privilege to be here and give some picks for the fellas.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. And to be honest with you, I was going to wait till the end of the show. But since you brought it up right now, maybe we can ask the chat right here, right now. Because as we launch this brand, Cavy 3, gosh, this is only our 4th week. It's hard to imagine. But I was hell-bent on just doing sports. But last weekend, I realized that with my experience in the WWE and how popular it is now, that maybe, just maybe, we should start a once-a-week show right here on this network that's everything wrestling. WWE, the old stories that you're talking about, all about what's going on right now with The Rock and everything WWE. So if you in the chat would like to see that, I know it's not for everybody, but if you would like to see wrestling content here, we're building, think of NBC, ABC. Do you think that's something, Cavy, that the good people in the universe would like to see?
Absolutely, especially it's growing. You got WrestleMania. I remember last year, some betting sites had WrestleMania. Roman Reigns was plus 200 to retain last year. And then even you can look back at last week. You had the Grammys. That was a bit of a light show for me. I got whacked. But the Academy Awards are coming up, so there's so many different things that you can bet on these days. But wrestling pay-per-views, it'll be tough though if you make a bet and they get disqualified. That'll probably be the worst way to go out. But it's definitely a show. It definitely people would want to see. I feel if you bet the Grammys, you bet wrestling.
You know what? That's a very good point. If you bet the Grammys, you bet wrestling. That does sound like a T-shirt. Alicia says, not my cup of tea, but the universe would love it. Well, we're going to do it, and we're trying to develop what it's going to look like right now. We may collab with another big wrestling brand. We may do that. But if you would like to see that, put in the chat, say, yes, coach. That's all I need you to write, and we will develop that show for you, and we'll start it next week because we own this, and that's what we're going to do. All right, it is now time for the rundown. All right, Cavy, the Super Bowl is now, just 5 days away, and we've kind of been accumulating picks over the last week and a half, but there's so many picks that you can do on the Super Bowl that really you can't do for any other game in the regular season or really the playoffs. And one that people love to do, but you got to be very careful with the juice, is the coin toss right at the start of the game. Your thoughts?
This is one chat I need you to listen to because if there's one thing that you're to listen to me on this unintelligent mouth, it's laying the juice with something that is 50-50. Now listen, so the coin toss, obviously 50-50. It should be plus 100 each way. Avoid laying minus 105. Sometimes books, I don't know why they do this. They get greedy. They'll do minus 115s each way, minus 120. I don't know what the reasoning is behind it. What is it? I don't know if it's mechanical errors. Maybe they say it's inflation. Listen, chat. Inflation is craft dinner being $1.50. Inflation shouldn't be sports books laying minus 120 each way. So whatever you do, make sure you go shopping for that best line. Nothing more than minus 105. Protest the minus 120s and minus 115s when it comes to the coin toss.
Put your fist down. Matty I says, Cavy's a degenerate. I like your style, sir. Now, this is the problem, and I'm glad you started this conversation because so many times you have kind of the casual bettor that'll come into the Super Bowl. They'll adjust lines because there's so much more. I read Ben Fox, who was on our show last week, and he said that there's going to be 23 billion, up from 16 billion, I believe, a year ago. And a lot of that money, Cavy, is on bets just like this. So in addition to the coin toss, how do you feel about other specialty bets like the national anthem or different things like that the public loves to bet on?
Yeah, especially before the game. I know there's obviously the Gatorade color prop. That one you have to wait until the end of the game. But getting these early ones out first, hopefully you can win the first few, whether that's the coin toss or the national anthem. Now, most of the time, if you see previous history, the over in the national anthem has been hitting at a high rate. But you just make sure, try and get those first few out of the way, because if you get lit up before the game even starts, you're battling. It's kind of like when you bet March Madness and you lose the first game, you're playing catch up the whole day. So what I would say is trying to do your research, but again, at the end of the day, it is just a little bit of luck. With the Gatorade props, it might just depend. Can we get the Swifties to get Taylor Swift, to get Travis Kelce, to figure out what the treats drink on Sunday? So that's all just theories everybody has. It's a ridiculous type of prop, but everybody loves doing it. And it's, again, the final week for another 8 months. So just enjoy betting the props. It's fun. You should enjoy with the fellas. These are bets you can't take to the bank, I'm telling you. But they're a lot of fun doing it, especially on football Sunday when you're a few deep, that's for sure.
They, Kelce, by the way, Travis Kelce, he was asked at media night the other night the difference, his perception since he has been dating Taylor Swift. And he said there's a big difference between being world famous and being Kansas City famous, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. Now, Cavy, we would not be driving the line if we did not ask you to bring some Super Bowl picks to the table for us to put in and also for us to discuss. What do you got for us today?
Yeah, so the first one, I got Brock Purdy to throw a duck. Now listen, last game against the Lions, he could have had at least 7 There was a lot of overthrows. He had a lot of underthrows as well. He's looked a little bit shaky in the playoffs here. Listen, the Lions, again, they could have had about 7. The Packers didn't have any. But, man, if you looked at those throws, especially early on in the game, they did not look good. This is the biggest game of Brock Purdy's life. Listen, he went to Iowa State. How many big games did he have at Iowa State? A 0 is the right answer. So, look, he's obviously going to be nervous. This is the biggest game of his life. The Mr. Irrelevant stuff, that goes out the window. There's no more of that. It's the Super Bowl. Nobody cares what you were drafted for or where you were drafted. So look for Brock Purdy to be a little bit shaky, especially coming out of the gates, and the Chiefs secondary to go duck hunting a little bit.
So as we just start with that one, I kind of agree with you because I think Brock Purdy, when you're talking about playing in your first Super Bowl, and we saw it in the first 2 games, they're very, very lucky, Cavy, to even be here after the Packers were up double digits, after the Lions were up double digits in the second half. I think he's going to be nervous. I think when you're nervous, you overthrow a little bit. I love this play at -110. Now, I'm interested to hear about MVS, who I have been – hey, I don't know if you know this. I'm a Kansas City fan, die hard. Okay. I went to the last Super Bowl when these 2 teams played 4 years ago. And MVS has been part of that receiving core that has been dropping pass after pass after pass. However, he did catch the game-clinching one from Patrick Mahomes at the end of the game against the Ravens. Why do you like him over 1.5?
Yeah. Coach, again, I'm going to get out of the way. I'm not smart. I'm not an analytic guy. More of a psychological and theory type of person. I'm not good with the data. I don't know numbers. But what I do know is for MVS in this one, especially the over 1.5, he might be missing for an hour and a half of this game. At some point in this game, you might say, does MVS even have his cleats on? But again, like you said, Coach, that last catch, the game-clinching catch against the Ravens, that gave him confidence. That gave Andy Reid confidence in him. That gave Patrick Mahomes confidence in him. I expect him like a 3rd and 3, 4th and 3. You might not even know he's on the field, but I feel like he's going to have a few clutch catches for Patrick Mahomes. He's gained the trust again of Patrick Mahomes. I see him playing a little bit more, and he has more faith in himself. If he can catch that ball against Baltimore, he can catch any ball, especially on the late 3rd and 4th downs. Look for MVS to have at least 2 catches in this game.
I think this is a low-key, really, really smart play, and here's why. Because when we've seen the Chiefs in the first 3 games of the playoffs, Cavy, it's been Rashee Rice, if it's not Travis Kelce. And it's been all Travis Kelce. I mean, 11 targets, I believe, in the first half, 8 catches in the last game. So after 2 weeks, I think the 49ers will at least try to cut those 2 guys off. So that's going to mean somebody's going to be one-on-one coverage, and somebody's going to have to catch the football. And that somebody's going to be MVS. So far, I believe you are 2 for 2. Now, I love to play the 6 degrees of separation game and leave it to you to have your third bet be connected to Taylor Swift. And if people out there are wondering, do you know what I'm talking about with this?
Yeah, this is a theory bet for me. There's no analytics. There's no data behind this one.
Okay.
This is the NFL Super Bowl script pick. This is the NFL game script pick. So stick with me, just the theory, but this is what I think the NFL script says. Kyle Juszczyk over reception. Now, why would Kyle Juszczyk have a catch in this game? Kristen, she just got licensed by the NFL to use their logos for all the jackets, the merchandise. And a few weeks ago, she gifted Taylor Swift, what was it, a jacket or a sweater with the Kansas City Chiefs. Kelce was all shined out. The NFL wants Kyle Juszczyk to have a catch in this game so that he can say his name, and then the NFL will point the cameras to Kristen Juszczyk and tell the story of how she has all this NFL licensing and how she gifted Taylor Swift this jacket from a few weeks ago. The NFL wants to do anything in their power to get Kyle Juszczyk's name out there on the worldwide stage, get Kyle Juszczyk to have a catch so they can call out the little free advertisement for his wife, Kristen, for all that she's done for the NFL. A free advertisement. Listen, this is a theory play. No data on this. I'm not smart enough for this. Kyle Juszczyk to get a catch somehow, some way.
Matty Ice thinks you are. He says smart ASF. Joey Blaze says Juszczyk is a lock so his gal can get on camera. There is no question because Roger Goodell this week, he came out and said that Taylor Swift has been great, not good, great for the NFL and its coverage. And I kind of compare it to wrestling a little bit, is that a lot of the fans can complain. And usually those fans are the ones that never leave their house, and they're just going to sit there on social media and complain. Like the real people that have jobs and careers and leave the house and do all that, they don't have time to complain on social media. They just don't. And so I think that this is actually a very smart play, and a lot of people are going to follow you on this one. I think this is smart. So those 3 plays for Cavy up there on the screen as we play. Now, I've got one more I'm going to add, and we'll add it to our full recap screen as we go. But tell me what you think about this one, and my theory on it, Cavy, is I like the Chiefs. If you go to BetMGM, you can bet the Chiefs. There you see right there, halftime, full-time, plus 190. And what this means is kind of like a soccer bet, that they have to be in the lead at halftime and then full-time. And I'm basing this off of what I saw from the 49ers against the Packers and also against the Lions. They came out nervous. They were down by double digits, and then they had to have furious comebacks to win the game inside of a minute for the Packers. And then, of course, they got into the lead in the fourth quarter against the Lions. So I think the Chiefs, who've been there multiple times the last several years, will jump out to a nice lead, 7-10 points, and then I believe they're going to win by at least 7 points. So at plus 190, I love this number. What do you think about it?
Purdy has to show it. Like I said before, I think he does come out with some nerves as well. The Chiefs have been here before. I don't know if you've seen on the Monday, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce were fired up with the boos. I think they poked the bear a little bit here, but again, they know how to start fast. And Brock Purdy has to show it. I haven't seen it enough. And listen, this game, I love the full time as well. This game is at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Vegas time. The thing with betting the Chiefs money line, when you lay your head on that pillow at 11:59 p.m., are you able to sleep with yourself at night betting Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes? I love the Chiefs money line play. Listen, if Patrick Mahomes can't get it done, I can lay my head at bed at night peacefully. I can sleep in peace. But betting Brock Purdy over Patrick Mahomes, it's tough for me. And I know in about 20 years from now, we're going to have some rocking chair moments where we say, I cannot believe Patrick Mahomes was plus chicken for the Super Bowl for 2 years in a row. So I love that Chiefs lead at half. I think Purdy starts off nervous. 49ers have started off slow these playoffs. And I like the full time because if Patrick Mahomes can't get it done, listen, I've lost a ton of bets. That's a bet I have no problem losing.
I was a guest writer this week, and I think it's going to go up today or tomorrow for Bovada. And I wrote an article, and I talked about the legacy of Patrick Mahomes and how sometimes in sports and in life, there are players and there are instances that are just bigger than the game. And, 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whenever it was, that Tom Brady decided to call it quits, we said it would be blasphemy, Cavy, for anybody to say there would ever be a quarterback approach 7 Super Bowls, but approach the career that Tom Brady has. And if Patrick Mahomes wins Sunday, and he gets to 3 at the age of 28, and in 16 years, he would still be a year younger than Tom Brady when he retired. He would only need 4 more in 16 years to catch Tom Brady. So I don't think it's blasphemous, and I think we need to look at it in that vein, like what you just said. How in the world, and they might win, but how in the world do we sit there and say that Patrick Mahomes, who's already won 2, who has been to 6 straight AFC championships, understands the pressure of everything involved? How do we not bet him over this guy? I think it's a great theory by you, and I think everybody at home, including our man Big Cheesy, you don't know Big Cheesy. You'll get to know Big Cheesy. But me and Big Cheesy have a little bet. Have you heard about our bet?
I have not. What's the bet?
The bet is that if the Chiefs win, he has to buy a Chiefs jersey, and then he has to wear it out in public and take 3 pictures with people and then send them in, and we'll put them up on the show. If the 49ers win, we're going to get a Jennings jersey signed because AB knows him, and then I have to wear it on the show. Then I'm going to mail it to Big Cheesy so he can have it in his collection.
That's big. Sometimes those kind of bets are worth more than money. There's a lot of pride. Sometimes you have to win pride bets more than the financial bets responsibly.
By the way, I want you to stick around because we got some other bets we got to get to. I just heard from AB, and he is very much under the weather. I'm going to see if we can't get him on at the end of the show. The weather has been crazy out here in California, so if we cut off, I apologize for that. But we will always have a show, no matter if it's a little bit late or whatever. So, Cavy, we've got a guy that we like to call the silent assassin. His name is Jacob. He's our senior brand manager, and he is potentially one of the greatest soccer cappers I've ever had the pleasure of working with. This man simply does not miss more than he makes. He's been amazing. So he sent in these three. He's also very, very sick this morning, so I apologize for that. But here are his 3 plays. Celtic win and the under 4.5. If you're not familiar with soccer betting, this is a really smart way. You kind of have to go all the way down in most sports books, all the way to the bottom. Basically, you're just saying there's not going to be more than 4 goals and that Celtic's going to win. This allows the number to come down from minus 130, minus 140, something like that. Really smart way if you believe that the other team is not going to score 1 or even 2. This is from the Scottish Premier League. And then you've got 2 other plays, and he's been brilliant at this. And we call this a synergy pick. Kilmarnock minus 0.75, meaning if they win by 1 goal at minus 118, you will win half of your bet. If they win by 2 goals, you will win your entire bet. Also, Jacob believes that Kilmarnock team total over 1.5 minus 108 is also a very, very smart play because the other team defense not that good. We've been cashing a lot of team totals lately in the same game. We just did a couple days ago at AS Roma. You're at Odd Sharks. How big is soccer betting over there for you guys? Soccer content.
Soccer is huge, especially in the EPL. We have a lot of great writers who cover that, especially and I got to get the big year coming up this summer. But listen, I don't personally bet it a lot just because of the 3-way money line. I historically get buried with soccer, but I love that first bet here, Celtic win and the under. So this type of bet, it kind of confuses the sports book in a way. When you do these type of same game inside the same type of bet, you're getting a great price on the Celtics win and the under because it gives a line that the sports books aren't sure of. So you're kind of manipulating the Celtics and adding a little bit more juice. But again, when it comes to soccer, I'm not your man. I'll do it, especially when it comes this summer. But hey, I know a lot of people, and it's a very popular sport betting it. Just the 3-way money line. When I bet a team and they draw, it's a terrible feeling.
But you can discuss it. And here at Driving the Line, that's half the battle because hashtag knowledge is power. Hashtag educate and entertain. That's what we stand on. All right, now, Howie Schwab, and you guys won't believe this. You know the legend is Howie Schwab. He's like the greatest college basketball mind of all time. We have him here on, and he's had some really difficult health issues as of late. He was rushed to the hospital late last night. He's going to be okay. He literally just called in and wanted to come on the show. I kid you not, because he saw all of you in the chat telling him to get better. That's how much all of you mean to him. So thank you for that. If you haven't written that, please do that. But he did send me 3 plays, Cavy, that I want to go over right now in college basketball. So Northwestern minus 5.5, and they've had some pretty big wins so far this year. Nebraska, according to Howie, they're just not that good on the road. And Northwestern, they've even played the likes of Purdue. Very, very tough this year. So we're laying the 5.5 minus 110, that over at BetMGM. Now, Tennessee minus 13.5 minus 115. They need to win. They're the much better team. They've got to stay near South Carolina in the SEC. And then finally, Villanova plus 3.5 minus 110. Jamal Hunter is out for the season for Xavier. That's a big-time loss. And Villanova just came off a big win over Providence as well. So those 3 wins. Howie was 2-1 yesterday, despite not being even close to 100%. Are you a big college basketball guy, Kevy?
First off, how do you not take these picks coming out? Him still giving out the picks. Yes. How do you not take these? I mean, I appreciate that. That is to the game. I appreciate that. When it comes to the college basketball, I do it more of March Madness. But again, with these picks, it really starts. This is where the momentum starts for the March Madness, especially when it comes after the Super Bowl. Some people say that college basketball is like a 6-week kind of tournament for the general public. But this is where you need to watch teams get hot, especially in February as they go into their conference championship games. But especially during March Madness, that's the time that I'll watch it all. But I just don't know how do you fade these picks when he is giving them out sick, people? That's determination. That is dedication. I will be taking these just in honor of Howie. Hopefully he starts to feel better soon. But there's no way you can fade these picks. He's still giving them out to the people, and you should too, chat.
Cavy, I can already tell. In our universe and our chat, they're very, very smart. And they always let us know if they like somebody or not. They absolutely love you. You are very, very smart. And I'm giving you an open invitation to come on Driving the Line whenever, because I'm kind of testing you without you knowing that I'm testing you. You can talk on every single sport, which is so important when you're building a brand and building a show. Now, let's go to the NBA, big boy. Let's go to the NBA. Now, my pal over at BetMGM, you can follow him on Twitter, John Ewing. He put out this stat. Since Sunday, favorites in the National Basketball Association are 19-0, 14-5 against the spread. So I looked at that, and then I looked at today's games and what we have to pick. And the Cavaliers, Cavy, are just the better team. They're in Washington. They're taking on the Wizards, laying 11.5. I know that's a big number. But when they get on a roll, they have a tendency this year, especially in the last couple of weeks, to win big. So I'm going to lay that minus 110 and lay the 11.5. Then I leaned into that 19-0 straight up number. The Warriors have got to start picking it up. They had a nice second half in the last game where Steph Curry had 29 points. He had 60 just a couple of games ago. He's starting to feel it. They're starting to get that mojo. Klay Thompson is where he needs to be, and that is on the bench at the end of games. So I'm going to go with the money line. I don't want to deal with the 2.5 points. I want them. They're at Philly. The Sixers are without Joel Embiid. I'll lay the minus 145, Kavi, just to not have to deal with the points. Are you liking the way the Warriors are playing right now?
That is a ridiculous stat, by the way. I mean, favorites are just cleaning up in the NBA right now. And the other thing, too, with these, I like these picks. I like the favorite as well with the Warriors and the Cavaliers. This can go on forever. You see this a lot in baseball when a team is on, let's say, an L7, and you're like, oh, I got to bet the other team because this team is on an L7. They got to win. Like when you bet a team that's on a 7-game losing streak or whatever, you're thinking they have to win. This favorite thing can go on forever. I mean, why stop now? Why take the underdogs? Just wait until it all settles down, until you start betting the underdogs. But that is just a ridiculous number. I like how the Warriors are playing. I know I saw a few days ago, Klay Thompson. He does look a little bit defeated right now. But again, it's obviously not on the Patrick Mahomes level, but he is a champion. He is a winner. I'm not putting him to rest yet. I'm not doing it. I can't do it. He's too good.
Well, maybe we can still fade him tonight, because LaMelo in the chat says taking Klay under 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists seems too easy. Kavi, is that too easy?
When it's too easy, it's usually not too easy. It's a stay away for me. Again, if Klay does have a bounce back game, I think just tread the waters lightly with Klay Thompson, because if you pass out on the couch watching this game and then you wake up to Klay Thompson dropping 35, I don't think anybody would be too surprised, because, again, he is due for one of those games. But also, we wouldn't be surprised if he drops 2 points and goes 2 for 13. I've been seeing his numbers these past few games. I mean, yikes, they have not looked good. I don't know who's opening up a window when he's shooting, but he has not been playing well. But again, I would just stay away until let the waters tread, let him do what he has to do, let him come back to life a little bit. For me, it's a stay away, but when it looks too good, that's what everybody else is thinking too. So just stay away. Not right now. Right now with Klay.
That's right. Now, I mentioned at the top of the show that we were adding more content for those people who are a member of the crew. We've had a couple of people join live on the show. You become green if you are a member. We're just putting more content there for you, for those of you that want more than here. But we're going to add shows here, so you're going to have plenty of content at both places. But we're launching Coach's Corner today. It's going to be a place for commentary, kind of storytelling. And this story I'm getting ready to tell you, Kevy, will be kind of what we put over there, because I love listening to really good storytellers. It's something that I love to do. And 9 months ago, this is a true story. Everybody that watches Driving the Line knows that my son is a very high-level junior golfer. Okay. And last year, our club was shut down for their greens were being aerated. So we have another course that we go to when our club is shut down. So we're getting ready to tee off. And all of a sudden, who pulls up but none other than Klay Thompson with a buddy of his. All right. And he was getting ready to play in the match against Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. And his partner was Steph Curry. So he needed some practice. So he wasn't in our group, but because the two people in our group were fanboying out and got there late, they changed the groups up. And so we ended up playing with Klay Thompson and his buddy. And my son's a great reader. This is a true story. And Japan says, Coach, I need your son to teach me. So my son is a great green reader. So Klay, I won't tell you how much he was playing for, but he was playing his buddy for a lot of money per hole. More money than a guy of his caliber should have been playing because he's not a very good golfer. And I should have bet against them in the match because they ended up losing, and I knew they were going to lose. So by like hole 8, hole 9, my son is now reading every single putt for Klay Thompson. And I may post this video. And he gets to the last hole. They're all tied. He's got like a 45 big bending putt all the way down the hill. And my son has a 2-putt to break 80 for the first time. That was last June. He does it all the time now. So he's nervous, but Klay says, hey, JJ, little man, come over here. I need you to read it. So my son walks over and he puts his putter right on a spot on the green. And he goes, no, I don't like that. My son raises the putter, put it right back down, same spot. Klay goes, I just don't see that. Third time, raises the putter, puts it right back down, will not move it. Okay. What do you think happened, Cavy? He dropped the putt from 45 plus. It was amazing. I have video of my son and Klay Thompson chest bumping after the putt. My son 2-putt. So the very first time he broke 80 at the time, he then played with Klay Thompson, and Klay won his match on a 45-foot putt to win. How crazy is that?
Incredible story. That's one especially, and I've heard a few stories about your son. You've said it on a few podcasts. Chat, I know we're excited in a few years to get the futures down on Coach's son on the PGA. But no, what an incredible story. That's something I'll remember forever. And the confidence coming up with that, man, oh man.
Yeah. All right. That's going to be a part of Coach's Corner. We'll have the first one posted today. If you're a member of the crew, you'll have that as well. And for those of you who dropped in late, we ask you a question. We are going to be doing wrestling content, at least one show a week, separate from this one, because we know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but separate from this one, we're going to have a wrestling specific show and address all the news and notes and what's going on in the world. And we have 2 people that you don't even know that are some of the greatest storytellers you'll ever hear that have been a part of the WWE for over 30 years. And we're going to have them right here on Driving the Line. You do not want to miss that. And a lot of it will be here on the channel, in the show, but we'll also have crew exclusive stories as well in Coach's Corner. All right, Cavy, this has been amazing. You and I just talked. That's all we did for 33 minutes, and it was amazing. Did you have a good time?
Had a great time. There's nothing better than talking ball. Chat, I appreciate it. And listen, this is the last Sunday that we could have to bet NFL for 8 more months. So don't leave any player prop unturned. Save your beans, and let's win some chicken this weekend.
Oh, 8 months? 8 months? I look at that as 8 months to build up our universe, our fan base. Now, I plan on having you on a lot. If you can make the time, I want to have you on a lot. But we're also planning to have a big March Madness contest. Howie's going to be used a lot, we hope. But I definitely want you to participate in that because March Madness, for me, just like with you, that's where it's at. Will you participate, sir?
Of course. It's March Madness. From March 1st to the end, mid-April, it's all college basketball. Don't ask me about anything else. It's college basketball. And that's how it should be. From 12 to 12, you just let it fire. Let it rip.
Let it fire. Let it rip. Michael Knox says, I could spend all day being educated and entertained. Thank you, Michael. I think you are a member of the crew, but we're going to give you more. That's what we're all about. Hard to believe. This is only week number 4 for our rebrand and our relaunch. You have any ideas, of course, send them in to us. And if you want to be a part of the next episode of Shoot Your Shot, Cavy, I don't know if you saw this, but we have a show that's a crew exclusive, that Shoot Your Shot, that up-and-coming handicappers can be a part of. It was amazing the other night. Did you hear about it?
I've seen a few clips of it, everybody giving their picks. I'd be the type to be a fade bot on that thing. So that'd be the fade cavy if I was on Shoot Your Shot. That'd be a brick shot. But I've seen it. There's a lot of sharps in there.
All right. Well, if you want to be a part of it, submit your video, drivingtheline@gmail.com. Joe will be back to defend his title. We'll do it probably twice a month, but we'll let you know that as well. Cavy, thank you very much. Give me my one shot. What a good show today. Sometimes you can make chicken salad out of you know what. So send a note out to my man AB, to my man Jacob, to my man Howie. All three very much under the weather today, but we're here every single day. And a shout out to my man from Odd Sharks, Cavy, who will be here quite a bit on Driving the Line. Do not forget, go to our Twitter pages at Driving the Line, at the Coach Rules, and vote on what our featured merch item will be next week as well. And if you're not a member of the crew yet, I encourage you to join right now. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe y'all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. My entire crew, love them all. We only had one today. Cavy. But of course, Howie, AB, Jacob, get better. They're here every single day as well. I am simply the coach, trying to keep this train on said track. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.